All right, Caesar, what's up, Playboy?
What's
Back
up? How
for
you doing?
I'm doing good. Back for another episode, another week of the noob picks, noob football picks. Can't even get my own show titles right. I'm not gonna lie, not the sexiest slate of games this week, but there's some good ones in here that I think that we'll have some fun with.
There's a
But before we
couple. Yeah, there's a couple that I'm really, really excited about. To be completely honest.
before we get into the picks, though, coming off Monday night, I got to ask you. You got your Eagles hat on. How you're feeling? Are you worried at all? Is this just it's a tough loss? It is what it is. It's clutch
It's
Kirk Cousins.
it was a top loss. It's we dropped the ball. That's what happened. We dropped the ball and Atlanta capitalized on it. That's football. You know, Atlanta made it work, and they made sure to capitalize on the mistake. Coaching wise, I mean, you could have kicked, you could have run the ball. I don't care. That's all not up to me. I saw a nice play attempted that unfortunately did not work in our favor. And then Atlanta just decided to go in and capitalize on what little time they had left. They were able to get it done. We tried. We got the pick at the end. That's unfortunate. I'm ready to move on. It's week two. We're already in week three. That's past news. I got bigger fish to worry about right now.
All right, I do have a question about the Eagles, but I'll save it for when we get to their game. So we'll start out Thursday night football. Last year, this game would have been seen as an absolute dumpster fire. Another Al Michaels eye roll for 3 hours situation. But two 1-1 teams, division rivals. You got one team that we're expecting better things from this year. We got another team looking like they're going to be frisky this year.
Yes, they are.
New England Patriots, New York Jets. Who you got?
I like the frisky Patriots, man. They almost got it done in week two. They almost got it done. They were not able to get it done. They came up short. Yeah, but I think this is the week. I think this is the week where they submit themselves. Hey, we're still here. Keep an eye on us. And I'm sorry to say it for to Aaron Rodgers, but uh, I think the Patriots are gonna win this one.
I'm rolling with the Jets. I'm relaxing. The Jets are fine, and I think you're going to pick the Patriots. This is my prediction. You will pick the Patriots to win at least 9 games this year.
Yeah.
Lock it in. I don't know what the Vegas odds are, but lock that in. Um, it'll be interesting. This might be a game to hammer the under on. Passing is down league wide. Scoring is
It's
kind
a
of all over the place.
Yeah, it was a defensive week. Week two was we saw the defenses roll out and do their jobs. So the Jets are supposed to have one of the best defenses in the league. They did not look that way week one. Week two, they did a little bit better. Still, they have some work to do there, but they're still strong defensively. And then the Patriots, I mean, it's the new system, new coach. Uh, everything feels fresh and frisky and fun, and it's just I'm excited about these new Patriots. I don't know. That's why I'm picking them. I think this is the week where they're gonna submit themselves and say, "Hey, we're here, man. We're here right now. We got Mayo on our side."
I love how excited you are about the Patriots. I just think the
I
Jets'
don't know
defense
why.
is too much. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Jacoby Brissett is Jacoby Brissett. I think the Pats keep it close, but scoring, it feels like it's down. Other than there's the Saints are scoring
Yeah,
ridiculous video game points right now. But I don't know. This feels like a low scoring Thursday night affair. There's less recovery time from the games on
both.
Sunday,
Yeah.
less prep time. So it's kind of like, what are your dominant units? I think both these teams are better on defense than on offense, but I don't know. I think the Jets are going to take it.
Listen, I could have just gone with the Jets because they have the most talent. They have the veteran at quarterback. But last week, we all knew what happened. I pick almost every single team that was supposed to go in as a favorite, and then we saw a lot of upsets last week. So we'll never know what happens.
All right, next game I got up here. One of our favorites here on the show, the New York Football Giants, taking on the 1-1, another one of our favorite teams to shit on, Cleveland Browns.
Just a
Browns or
really,
Giants?
really, I'm just gonna go with the Browns. I don't think the
That's it.
Giants. Yeah,
No analysis.
no, I don't think the Giants have any shot of winning a game probably until like week 5 or something. I don't know. They're a mess. They are an absolute mess right now offensively, and you can talk about the defense all you want, but they are not going to be able to capitalize until they make some big changes, and unless they make them this week, which I don't think they will. I think the Browns are going to take it.
I pointed this out on the other show that last week when we talked, I talked about Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and how like Washington, their dog shit offensive line, Jaden Daniels, and how he takes a bunch of sacks. I thought the Giants would get after Daniels, and that's why I picked the Giants to win. And they got, I think, 5 or 6 sacks on Jaden Daniels. They got after him all day. They held him to just a bunch of field goals. But
they didn't score a single touchdown, and they still won.
Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau had no sacks between them. They had 5 or 6 sacks, but the 3 like top dogs did nothing. So I don't know. The Giants, even when they're in the game, even when they have a matchup advantage, it's like, what are we doing? So I'm with you. I'm going Cleveland.
Yeah, the Cleveland did great to week 2. Like they were able to figure out some situations they were going through week 1, and in week 2 they were to capitalize and be better, and that's why they won in week 2. So let's see if they can continue that momentum. I think they will.
Yeah, I think their defense is back. Like Dallas can hang a lot of points on anybody, but they handled Jacksonville the way they should have. So I at the very least, I like Cleveland's defense to just brutalize Daniel Jones for 3 hours, and then that's that.
And that was a close game too.
It was. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears, somehow 1-1, despite Caleb Williams having like historically low numbers for a rookie. Going to Indianapolis 0-2. Very disappointed in them this past week with Green Bay. This is an interesting one to pick.
I know you're disappointed in them. Of course. I mean, this is one of those games where it's really hard to pick a specific favorite because both teams have struggled. I mean, the Colts have not won yet. They're 0-2. And then you got the Bears who have won one game, and they struggled to win that game, and they lost the other one. But I think that this Caleb Williams experiment is going to continue to be fruitful for the Bears, so I'm going to pick the Bears.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Bears, you know me, it's two middling or subpar teams, and I don't know who to pick. I just pick whoever has the best unit, and I think the Bears' defense is the best unit on both of these teams. I thought the Colts' defense would be better, and they've been all right, but like they didn't give up a ton of points against Green Bay, but Malik Willis was 12 for 14 in his 4th career start, and Josh Jacobs just like went full David Montgomery in that overtime game on their defense. So I think the Bears defense is good enough. Anthony Richardson still hasn't had a ton of experience. I think they'll get after him, maybe force a couple turnovers, and Caleb Williams will, I think, have better numbers than he's had, but it'll still be kind of he's working through it, but the Bears defense just brings it home.
The Bear needs to be rebuild its whole the entire offensive line. So they're trying to get that thing going. They already have this new rookie quarterback, so they get to just get more weapons in the offensive side, so they can continue to build on that. But until then, it's going to be tough for them to continue winning. Notwithstanding, I believe that they have an advantage over the Colts. I think the Colts they're struggling. Their games have not been extremely. They haven't been overwhelmed, but I think week 2 they had a nice game against a Green Bay Packer team that they should have won against. They don't have Jordan Love and they still lost. So I don't have that much faith in the Colts this week. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the Colts probably got outcoached in that game. Moving along, staying in the AFC South, the 2-0 Houston Texans against the surprise 2-0 my Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis.
Like I said,
CBS.
you said that it wasn't an exciting slate of games this Sunday, but this is one of those games that I'm really excited about because it's two and 0 teams. One of them that we were not expecting, which was the Minnesota Vikings, of course, and then we have the Texans, who are just going on. They're on the CJ Stroud train, and they're not planning on getting off that train anytime soon. And they're doing well. They're doing extremely well. This is one of those games that's going to be really, really tough to call. But you know what? I'm going to give you a present, an early Christmas present. I think the Vikings are going to take it.
I'm not going to officially pick this game. My gut, honestly, is that the Vikings win, but I do feel like both these teams are kind of due for a loss, even though they've both just handled business, I think. Like Houston, Nico Collins is catching all the balls. Diggs hasn't gotten too involved. Tank Dell hasn't gotten too involved. Mixon had the great week 1 game, not as good week 2 against the Bears defense. I'm curious to see, is this Vikings team for real? Brian Flores with the defense, they're top 3 in sacks, top 3 in interceptions, turnovers, points allowed. Does that continue? I don't know. My gut
Both,
has been Vikings, but I don't know.
both of these teams offensively are great. Both of them. So to me, this is going to be a game defined by the defense. Whichever team's defense can do the job better than the other ones is going to win. Is going to win. That's my take, and I believe the Vikings are going to take it.
There are some good stories. Daniil Hunter coming back from Houston to Minnesota. Diggs coming back to Minnesota. This is his first game played in Minnesota since he was traded to Buffalo in 2019, or I guess 2020. So there's some good juicy stories around this. I think I agree with you. I think it's going to come down to which defense can make more. Like, can you force a couple Sam Darnold turnovers, or can we get after the quarterback quick enough to negate all these weapons on the outside? I don't know. I don't have a good beat on how I think the game flow is going to be. My gut was Vikings win, but I don't know. It should be a good game. Should be a good matchup.
Yeah, that is the only guarantee. This should be a good game.
All right, now going from my team to your team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming off a tough loss where I thought they looked like the better team for most of that game, in my opinion. But they're going into New Orleans, the team that is just beating the dog shit out of everybody that they come across. It's a tough matchup, but honestly, in my opinion, I think you guys are catching them at the right time.
Listen, the Saints are on a roll. I'm not sure what exactly has possessed Derek Carr. I don't know what spirit, what voodoo magic out of New Orleans and the French Quarter possessed that man. But he's on a roll. He's having a moment. He's hee-heeing in Jerry World. He's talking trash to the defense on the opposite side, and he's balling his ass out. Like, he's just balling. The Saints, like you said, they're scoring ridiculous amounts of points, like Madden points. So that's ridiculous. It's amazing what they're doing. But let's hit the brakes here. Obviously, this is gonna sound like I'm just picking the Eagles because they're my favorite team. But the first team they beat was barely a team, and it's the Carolina Panthers. They run over them, as expected at this point. The second team, now that was a surprise because they beat the Cowboys at home. They beat them at Jerry World. So That was a big surprise for everybody. It was a big surprise to me because I picked the Cowboys to win. Notwithstanding that, this game, to me, will be the first test for the Saints. Not because it's the Eagles, but because now we know, okay, they can beat a crappy team and they can beat a solid team like the Cowboys is actually a good team. So now, which team is it? Are they just are they legit, or are they just did they just get lucky in Dallas? With that said, like you said, the Eagles, they're coming off a tough loss. Sorry, they are struggling defensive on the defensive side. I think they cannot stop the running game. I think they're still struggling with that. But offensively, if we're able to get all the pieces together, if AJ Brown is able to come back, even though reports say that he might be missing a couple of weeks, I think the Eagles are going to take it. So I'm going to pick the Eagles because I think they are the better team at this moment. Not saying they're not, I'm not saying that the Saints are not good, but at this point, I think the Eagles are still the better team.
I still think there's a little smoke and mirrors with the Saints. Like I think last week was more about. I think both of these games they've played are more about the opponent. Carolina is awful, and Dallas does this in week 2. This is their MO. They get their shit pushed in by some random team, and I also feel like the Eagles beating the Saints the week after they beat the crap out of the Cowboys just feels like an NFC East storyline that's going to happen. So, like, there's going to be trash talking back and forth. Like, that just gives me that vibe. But I'm not going to trust a Dennis Allen coach team. Like, I'm more willing to trust Derek Carr. Like, Derek Carr can drive the car, no pun intended. He can lead a 10-win playoff team into the playoffs. Like, I don't doubt him on that. I think he's underperformed as a Saints quarterback, but I think he's better than that. But Dennis Allen, not a real head coach. I don't know how he still has that job. Again, sorry, Dennis Allen. I'm not calling for your job, but I am. But I just think the Eagles, they got more talent, and I can't buy the Saints. I think the Saints are going to fall apart at some point. Maybe it's not now, but it just feels like they're due for a clunker where everyone's like, oh, yeah, these are the Saints. Like, we can't think that they're the best team in football because they beat the shit out of 2 teams, because then they come back the next week and get beat by 3 touchdowns. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I think they're going to lose.
If the Eagles are able to keep their defense in check and better like they looked in week 1 against the Green Bay Packers in Brazil, or how they looked during that last couple of drives against, the Falcons, were able to get them stopped. There was a great play by C.J. Gardner-Johnson where he just mauled Bijan Robinson, stopping him from getting that first down. Did he take his helmet off? Or I don't know. I don't care. It's whatever. It's past. But if they're able to look and play like that, this should be a win, a comfortable win. Not easy, a comfortable win for the Eagles.
Sorry, I'm asleep at the fucking wheel. Next, this should be another interesting matchup. I think I'm curious to see your thoughts on this. 2-2-0 teams, the Los Angeles Chargers going into Pittsburgh, the surprise 2-0 Steelers, maybe not based on their schedule, but surprise 2-0 Steelers. Who you like here?
If you should be looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. But listen, Jim Harbaugh's experiment is working. The Harbaugh effect is in full swing with the Chargers right now, but they're due for a loss. And I think the Steelers are just going to continue to do what they've been doing for the past 2 weeks. I think they're just going to continue to get wins out of nowhere. So I'm picking the Steelers.
You bring up an interesting point. I'm curious about this because Pittsburgh, their defense has looked all world so far in 2 games, but they haven't really played a top tier team. And I'm not saying the Chargers are top tier. They're coaching wise, they are top tier. I love this matchup because Pittsburgh, they're going to rely on the defense. Arthur Smith on offense, they're not going to do anything too crazy. They're not going to give you opportunities, But then on the other side, you got Jim Harbaugh, who's going to play a straight up game. They're going to run the football. They're not going to pass it all over the place. They're going to pass in smart situations, even though they got a very talented quarterback. So it's two teams that I feel like, not that they play a similar style, but they have a similar philosophy in like, we're not trying to fucking wow you. We're not here to entertain you. We are here to win a
To win.
football
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it might not be the most entertaining game. It might be a snooze fest considered to some, but it's just not gonna be that type of game. Like you said, it's a game to just win. Who's gonna win this game? I don't think the Chargers offense can handle the Steelers defense though.
I don't know. They've been running the ball really well. It's going to be an interesting mashup. I think if Pittsburgh can control to some extent the Chargers' run game, it's going to come down to the pass catchers. I really like Lad McConkey, but he's young in his career. This will be his third career game. Quentin Johnston did a few things last week, but he largely in his first season not great. If Pittsburgh can force them to rely on the pass game and force those young guys to make plays, that I think is their key to victory. But I'm picking the Chargers.
All right, that's fair. It's a fair point you make.
I believe in Jim Harbaugh. He's the man.
I mean, he is the man. He's got a system that works. He made it work everywhere that he's been. So it's exciting. This is one of those games that to me is also exciting, not because it might be the best game ever, but because it's new and fresh. Because you're seeing Harbaugh as the coach of the Chargers now, and they have been winning. They've been doing good. I mean, they've been having close games as well. I mean, last week. I mean, let's see here. Who did they face last week? Hold on, my dog just got scared. Yeah, they faced the Panthers last week, and they pretty much dominated over them, which was expected. But in week one, they had a hard-fought battle to win. So that's, it's an interesting thing to see. Like Mayo with the Patriots and Seattle and all these teams that have new coaches, that to me is exciting because you start to see what kind of culture they're playing at. Just say with the Raiders, like how are they doing in this new system? What's different? What's being called different? What's being done different? What's their team's attitude? And to me, that's exciting to see from the Chargers. But I still don't think they can withstand the Steelers defense. And I don't know what they're doing over in Pittsburgh, but I think they're gonna win because for some reason their offense is able to sneak it in.
I just don't think that the Steelers with Justin Fields have played a defense capable of what the Chargers are capable of. And I think Jim Harbaugh will stick with it enough that he's going to score enough points to get it done. Now, I think this might be the banger of the week. I know some people, this might not, they want to see the passing and 50
Yeah.
points on either side. I love football where it's just there's no bells and whistles, there's no bullshit, there's no NASCAR offense, there's no I got to show you how smart I am. It's just we are scheming to win a football game against this specific opponent. They're trying to do the same. They're going to play smash mouth. It's going to be two forces just hammering into each other. This is football. And I think this is going to be a banger.
It's going to be bird knuckle down to that field. So I can't wait for that.
All right, next up we got an 0-2 team not looking great against a 2-0 team looking pretty damn good. Denver and Tampa Bay.
Denver is going to start 0-3. The Buccaneers are going to take this one because Baker Mayfield is baking, and he's doing a great job, and the Buccaneers are playing really well, and they have been, I think they're the second best team offensively right now, behind the Saints. I'm not really sure. I don't have that on my notes, but I think Baker Mayfield is doing great things in Tampa Bay. I called them winning last week. I was right. Was it? Did I call them to win? Hold on. No, Actually, I thought they were going to lose to the Lions, and they surprised me. So I think the Buccaneers are going to continue this trend, and I think the Denver Broncos are going to start 0-3, and that should show them because how are you going to start a rookie quarterback like Bo Nix just like that and expect him to just turn the team around with Sean Payton at the helm?
Yeah, I mean, everything points to Tampa Bay. I talked in the flagship show about Tampa Bay, their ability they can win games in multiple ways. If they need to win a game on defense, they can win a game on defense. If they need to win a game on Baker Mayfield's arm, they can win a game on his arm. The team, they're past rallying around Baker. Like, this is a team that believes in Baker Mayfield as their quarterback, as they should. And so, to me, everything points to Tampa Bay. For some reason, I feel like Denver is going to win this game. I don't know why. It's not a logical thing. It's just like, is Tampa Bay really going to start 3-0? Not that they're not, a top. You can make a case Tampa Bay is playing like the second best team in the conference, but I don't know. I'm not going to pick them personally. You know what? I'm going to pick Denver, so it's on the record. There's no good reason for it, but if they win, then I look like a genius. So
You're picking Sean Payton. That's all right. That's fine.
yeah, I mean, he's got experience with the Bucs, all those years with the Saints.
Yeah, yeah, I
No
know.
love
I know
lost there.
he knows exactly how they are, divisional rivals and stuff. But let's see what happens. I think the Buccaneers are going to continue. I think the Broncos are going to continue to struggle, and fans might hate on Bo Nix. I don't think that's his fault. Rookie quarterback, new system. This is people expect rookie quarterbacks to just be good and just start winning games out of nowhere. They understand that they need to be, they need to get used to a system first. They need to grow into the game and see how it's played at a professional level because it's not the same as college. So I don't think Bo Nix and Denver still have figured that part out together. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm still gonna pick Buccaneers.
I think if I had to make a case, it would be the Bucs. They need to be able to consistently run the ball. Like I like who they got in the backfield, but it's clearly like probably the weakest unit of the team. And I don't know if Denver can stop them from being too successful on the ground. I think they got Patrick Surtain. If they can force a couple Baker Mayfield turnovers, which every once in a while Baker has one of those games, most quarterbacks do. Patrick Mahomes threw 2 interceptions last week, but I don't know. I'm grasping at straws. For some reason I feel like Denver's gonna win this game. That's just what my gut's screaming.
Just keep the bat cells away from Bo Nix, and the Buccaneers should be able to win.
All right, next up we got Green Bay at 1-1. Malik Willis going back
Surprise.
to Tennessee, going back to where he started his career, had a cup of coffee before he was replaced by maybe the worst quarterback playing football in the National Football League, my arch nemesis, Bill Levis, the 0-2 Titans. Who you like here?
Listen, I'm highly entertained by Will Levis. I don't care what anybody says. I'm highly entertained by how every week he's just going to do something that's meme-worthy. First week, it was just like kneeling in the middle of the field, just hands on his head, like after he just threw a pick. And then this week, he's just like lunging the ball in the air, like he's just it's ridiculous, it's funny. But I think this is the week where they turn it around. I think the Titans are going to take this.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I was higher on the Titans than anybody on planet Earth, and then I have killed them for 2 weeks straight because Bill Levis can't handle business. But I think the Titans, I don't even know how much, they got intel on Malik Willis. They know his tendencies or whatever, any of that bullshit. But Green Bay, I don't think most people expected them to win last week. I think LaFleur put together a masterful game plan, and they got it done. But they got it done on the ground. Josh Jacobs, 35-ish carries. They had over 40 carries as a team. Just absolutely hammered Indianapolis, which wasn't expected. But the reason that I'm so high on the Titans, what led me down the rabbit hole to get as high on the Titans as I am, is my boy, the planet-sized mutant, T'Vondre Sweat, in the middle of that defensive line. Josh Jacobs ain't running 35 times against the Titans on Sunday unless he's running 35 times into a brick wall called Tavondre Sweat. I think that's going to be the key. Can him and Jeffrey Simmons, if they can slow down the run game up the middle, if they can contain that, we've got some tape maybe on how LaFleur is going to go about trying to handle Malik Willis. Is it enough tape? I don't know. But the Titans can't start 0-3. Titans, you cannot start 0-3. I can't have it. We cannot have it. 0-2, you can make the playoffs. 0-3, the Titans are dead in the water, and I look like a fucking idiot. I'm picking the Titans. They got to get it done.
Listen, unless Green Bay throws up with the ball every single time, they're not going to be passing that ball. I mean, they're not going to be running that ball every single time. So that's just – I think that's the only reason they won that game is because their center threw up on the ball and he had to run it no matter what. I'm thinking the Titans. I think Levis has something to prove. He's being made out a joke for the past 2 weeks.
You think he has something to prove? You're goddamn right. He's got something to prove after that garbage he's put out there in the first 2 weeks.
So I feel like if he is able to take that all that and use it as motivation, he's gonna get it done. So I think he's gonna get it done this week. I think the Titans are gonna take it. I think the defense is gonna hold Green Bay back. Sorry. And yeah, that's my pick. I'm picking the Titans to win this game.
We have breaking news here across the Football Heads sports desk. From ESPN. Falcons buy 100,000 hot dogs for fans in honor of owner Arthur Blank. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Why is that in honor of Arthur Blank? Is Arthur Blank like a big hot dog guy? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. But now you know. So
slow news day on ESPN, I guess.
Apparently. And it'll probably be a slow news day after this next game. Carolina Panthers, the worst team in all of football. I'm pretty sure the local high school here might be able to give them a little run for their money. But Carolina going to Las Vegas, take on the Las Vegas Raiders. I know you love Antonio Pierce. You love his culture. I'm not sold on him yet. They're a team to me trying to figure it out still. But they're a team with Pierce and his mindset that they're going to win some games while they're figuring it out. Do you think they're going to win this game?
Yes, I think they are. Minshew Mania is running wild. He was able to get it together after that pick last week to make the game-winning drive. So good for Garrett Minshew. I'm happy for him. Listen, let's talk about the Panthers for a second.
We don't have to.
I just want to say this. I feel bad for Bryce Young. I feel bad for the kid. You can tell that mentally he's defeated, he's frustrated, he's tired, and that's the reason he got benched. You do not show that on the field. I don't care how bad your team is. I don't care how bad you're doing. When you show to the national stage that you are mentally done, you're going to get benched no matter what. I feel for the kid. I hope he gets it together. I hope he learns some stuff while he's on the bench and looking at, what's his name? The guy who's going to be starting.
Andy Dalton?
Dalton, yes. Hopefully he learns some stuff from Dalton. I don't think he's going to learn that much from him. But,
Hey, don't sleep on the red rifle.
I feel bad for the kid. I just feel bad for him. Like, there was a video today, I don't know if you saw it, where he was just walking around training camp and some guy probably like, I don't know if he had issues, like mental disability or something. He was just some guy. He was trying to be supportive. He was like, "Hey man, can I get your autograph?" And Bryce was like, "Yeah, sure, I got you." And the guy was just telling, "Hey, I believe in you. Keep your head up." You're just trying to motivate him. His face, man, he was just like, "Yeah, whatever." Like he's done. I don't think he needs to get back from that. If he's not able to get back from it, I'm sorry, he's done.
I think he's done in Carolina. Mel Kiper Jr. had maybe the best breakdown on this of how, like, whatever Bryce Young and what he needs to learn and how he needs to grow is what it is. But this is an organizational failure. You bring in a coaching staff. The reports are that they wanted C.J. Stroud and ownership forced Bryce Young on him. You then fire that coach midway through the year, get rid of everybody. Then you hire a new coach, bring him in, a young guy, fairly unproven, and then what happens? 2 games into the season, you're benching Bryce Young. And I do think that it's probably the best. It's the best move for the team because Andy Dalton can play football, and it's probably the best move for Bryce Young because he needs to reset. But I think he's done in Carolina. He's going to be the next in the line of this new like reclamation QB thing that Geno Smith kicked off. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold's doing his thing. He's going to have to go somewhere else because Carolina from the ownership down is a dumpster fire bullshit Mickey Mouse organization. It's garbage. It's awful. I don't even want to fucking talk about this team, but we are. I cannot in good conscience pick the Panthers, but I'm not going to pick the Raiders because I do think Andy Dalton. I want to see what this offense looks like because like Adam Thielen had a good year last year. Obviously, I'm an Adam Thielen guy. They got a couple guys that you could do something with. The Raiders are not world beaters. Andy Dalton might be able to like right the ship, get everyone relaxed, just execute the game plan, and we'll see if they can upset a team that's somewhere in the middle. But I can't pick them.
All right, that's fine. I mean, that's completely understandable. But you brought up a good point. He's done with Carolina. He might move to another team, but which team needs a quarterback right now? Giants?
I mean, there's always a bunch of teams that need a quarterback, and you'd probably be bringing him in not to be the starter, but like maybe you miss out on a quarterback in the draft, and you got a veteran that you signed to be a bridge, and it's like, we can afford to bring in someone like Bryce Young and just see because coaches, all these people have egos, and they all think, well, those guys fucked them up, but we're geniuses. We're gonna get this figured out, and they might be right. They might be right.
Yeah, I mean Carolina as an organization it's atrocious. It's not a good place right now. The fans know it. That's why their stadiums are so empty. I mean, they didn't care. Fans don't care. They're frustrated with the ownership as well. So I think that will be best for him. I think him moving on will be the best thing for that team and for himself, especially for himself. But yeah, I'm picking the Raiders because I think the Raiders are a stronger team right now. Let's see what Dalton can bring up to the table for the Panthers, but I still think the Raiders are going to take it.
All right, our next game, Miami 1-1. We got the whole Tua situation. They got to go across country, not just across country. This is the longest trip that you could possibly have in the league unless you're going overseas, all the way down South Beach, Miami, Florida, all the way up to the Pacific Northwest. Seattle Seahawks. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I think the Dolphins are in trouble. I think that what happened to Tua on Thursday night against the Bills is extremely unfortunate. It's been running the media circle. Should he retire? Too many concussions. That he should think about his future and his health. Hey, I'm not gonna speculate. I'm not gonna say what he should or should not do because I'm not an athlete. I haven't been in that situation before, so I have no experience to actually say, hey, he should do this or do that. All I'm saying is that I wish him the best, and I also think that Miami is in a situation where they don't have depth in the quarterback room, so that's going to cost them. I believe the Seahawks are going to continue their momentum, and I think they're going to take it, and Miami goes to 1-2.
Now, I haven't been high on Miami. I very correctly predicted their downfall last year. When they were running away with the division, I said Buffalo's going to win this division. I don't believe in Miami. I thought they were going to be a non-playoff team this year with Tua. You lose Tua. Now, the redeeming factor here, Skylar Thompson has showed some things. That playoff game a couple years ago where they went into Buffalo and both Tua and Teddy were out. Skylar Thompson was in, and that game came down to the wire. McDaniel, very much a system guy. He comes from the Shanahan system where it's more about the scheme, and you can kind of plug some guys in and still have some success. But that trip and Seattle, I talked about this on the flagship show. Seattle, they're given that vibe early on of a team where every game's going to be close, and they're just this year, for whatever reason, they're going to find ways to pull it out. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Skylar Thompson is going to have Miami. He's going to operate the offense. I think McDaniel's going to get back to running the ball a little bit more, not having to show everyone how smart he is and how he's drawing up the plays for Tyreek and all that. But I think Seattle is going to pull it out in a tight one somewhere late in the fourth.
I mean, they were able to sneak a win at New England last week, so I have no doubt that at home, which is one of the loudest stadiums, in the league, I have no doubt that they're going to get able to get it done. Whether it's a dominant win or if it's just like edge of your seat, close game win, that's fine. I think they're just going to be able to get it done. They're playing well. Geno Smith is playing well. So, yeah, Seahawks 3-0.
All right, next up, we got another candidate for banger of the week, baby. The Detroit Lions, 1-1. Their offense has kind of been struggling a little bit, but they still got the pieces. I expect them to bounce back here at some point. Going into replacing my Titans, my Arizona Cardinals, that I tried to tell everybody about. My Arizona Cardinals coming off an absolute beatdown of epic proportions against the Los Angeles Rams after a really nice performance against a good Buffalo Bills team. Detroit at Arizona. Who you got?
Listen, I have no idea. I had no idea the Cardinals were this good. Let's just say it like that. I had no idea they were this good. They played really, very well last week. So well that they pretty much humiliated the Rams. And this is going to be a close game to me, but I'm picking the Lions. I think the Lions are going to be bouncing back from that loss to the Buccaneers. So I think I'm picking them just because I think that they are able to stop the Cardinals' offense. I think their defense is going to be able to stop the Cardinals' offense, which is a very pass-heavy offense. So I think when it comes to coverage, the Lions are going to lock it down.
I think I'm with you. This is a game I don't know if I'm going to pick this one. I'd love to pick against Detroit, pick my Cardinals, and be right. And Detroit's sitting at 1-2 with the Vikings 3-0 on top of the division, and the Cardinals cruising along because the NFC West all of a sudden is up for grabs. The Rams are destroyed by injuries. San Francisco dealing with some injuries, looking like it might be what people were kind of picking up the vibes on of just like not a bad year, but just kind of down from being the dominant team in the conference. But
the affirmation Super Bowl fatigue.
Yeah, I think this is tough. I think if I had to predict anything for this, I would say take the over. Arizona put up a ton of points both weeks, put up a ton of points on the Bills, put up a ton of points on the Rams, and they handled business defensively against the Rams, but the Rams lost Cooper Kupp. They were without Puka Nacua, McVay having to change shit on the fly. And they kind of just caught him from jump, and I looked at the game. It was 14-0, and the Cardinals had the ball, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened? How is this out of hand already?" So I don't think their defense is going to be nearly as good against a Detroit team. Like I said, it's been struggling offensively, but I think they're going to get some things figured out this week. I think it's going to – I wouldn't say like a hugely high-scoring game, but I think both teams mid to high 20s, and I think it could be an over, but I don't think I'm going to pick this one.
Does Harrison Jr. continue the momentum that he picked up this week?
I mean, he might. Week one was a surprise. I'll tell you what, speaking of betting on stuff in college, you could bet on him to get a touchdown and 100 yards every single week, and – you could count the money as soon as that bet slip gets submitted, man. So I don't know if he's going to go off quite the same as he did against the Rams, where it was like, holy shit, he's arrived, he's here, this is it now. But I think he's going to have a good game. I think he's going to keep going.
Yeah, I think even if the Cardinals lose, he's going to have a good game.
Kyler Murray, he's playing. The new Call of Duty has not come out yet, so We got until week 8 where Kyler Murray is going to be Pete Kyler Murray, and we'll see if the ACL injury, having to see his team kind of dip down, coach gets fired, all this other shit. We'll see if maybe he's been watching a little more tape out there.
All right, I see the sirens on your side over there. All right,
This
so yeah,
Hollywood baby.
yeah, I know it's gotta be sirens when it comes to Hollywood and LA. So that's great. Yeah, I think the Lions are just gonna bounce back from that loss against Buccaneers. I mean, it was heartbreaking loss for them because they were home. It was a playoff rematch, which Buccaneers got the revenge. But I think the Lions are gonna bounce back. The Cardinals are also a fun team to watch. I saw that in the highlights. I could not catch that game live, unfortunately, but I saw all the highlights and they look great. Kyler Murray, like you said, was playing a great game. He was big Kyler Murray. He was running around like a little bird, so that's good for him. He's doing good. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, but I still pick the Lions.
All right, now we're getting to the part of the slate where it's like, okay, it's gonna be banger after banger after banger in the 4 o'clock slates. Baltimore, yeah. Dallas, 0-2, 1-1. Both teams disappointing losses last week, but I still think both of these teams are good teams. I still think both of these teams are playoff teams. I still think both of these teams are going to get it turned around, and this could be just a slugfest in Dallas.
This was tough for me to decipher and to analyze because, like you said, they're both coming back from tough losses, especially they're both at home. They both lost at home. But I think the Ravens need this win more, which gives them the motivation to go after it more. Dallas is 1-1. I think they're gonna be struggling for a while. Probably this week. Maybe they bounce back next week. So I think the Ravens are gonna get this one. I think they're finally gonna bounce back and be 1-2 this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say this is a must-win game in week 3 of the season, but like Baltimore staring down 0-3, Dallas staring down 1-2. Not where you want to be for either one of these teams. This is a matchup you want to see in week 13, where you still got some time left in the season to bounce back, but you've built a foundation. This is a big game for both of these teams.
Yeah.
Historically, Mike Zimmer has not fared the best against highly mobile quarterbacks. So we'll see if he's been in the lab in his time off since he got fired from Minnesota and has not watched a Vikings game since. It's okay, Mike. We love you, baby. We love you, Zim. I'm not picking this one either.
All right, that's fine. I still think the Ravens are going to be getting it. I think they want it more. I think the Cowboys are still struggling. They got that sucker punch, by the Saints. I think they're going to struggle back to get back in the rhythm a little bit longer than the Ravens have. I think the Ravens have, after losing the first 2 games of the season in heartbreaking fashion, both of them, I think they just want it more, and I think they're going to get it done.
I will say this. I think this is not betting advice, but if I was to give you a bet on this, I like Lamar over carries and maybe over yards. I think Dallas, they got the pass rushers to get after him, but Lamar's got the escapability and he's got the speed. And like I said, Mike Zimmer, we used to get killed, man. Every time we played a running quarterback, we would get killed. And I don't know. I think Lamar is going to be doing some escaping. I think he's going to be doing some scrambling. I think he's going to be in the mindset of we're 0-2. We got to do whatever it takes to win. I don't care about this. I need to prove to people that I'm a passer. I think he's just going to do what needs to be done to win, and that's going to involve running around because he's better at running around than anybody who has ever played the position.
And don't forget about Derrick Henry.
Yeah. There was a lot of clamoring from not even just Dallas people. Dallas should sign Derrick Henry. Why is Dallas not targeting Derrick Henry? Jerry Jones talking about, I anticipate that we're going to go all in. And then he signs nobody. And everyone wanted him to sign Derrick Henry. He doesn't. And now they got to deal with him in week 3, staring down 1-2. So that's a good point. Derrick Henry might just pound the rock, and then you get Lamar running around doing all sorts of crazy shit, shorten the game, and prevent Dallas from being able to get a rhythm on offense and really start hanging a lot of points on you. I feel like Dallas, when you can prevent them from getting out hot and like when Dak gets into that rhythm and he's really like he's flowing with it, he's as good
He's
as he
good.
gets.
Yeah.
But if you disrupt him early, if you disrupt the game flow, control the ball, control the clock, I think you can catch him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that last statement. I think Dak struggles when he's not in control. When he sees that we, when Dallas is behind, like they're coming from behind, uh, they're trying to win a game. They struggle more than when they are ahead from the start of the game. So we'll see if the Ravens are able to get it done and just hammer them down offensively and make sure that they can score and run the ball and just have Henry stiff arm people all over the Jerry world. I think the Ravens are going to get it done easily for them. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch, but I don't think it's going to be a close game like the last two Ravens games. I think the Ravens are going to be. I think they're going to win by a lot. By a lot.
So Dallas getting blown out 2 weeks in a row. Very, very Eagles fan of you.
I'm sorry. I mean, I picked them to win last week. They lost. That's not my fault, you know. But this week, I don't think they can win it.
All right. Well, next up we got San Francisco coming off a just getting absolutely ragdolled by the Minnesota Vikings. Whatever the box score says, whatever the yardage is, dominated from start to finish. And they're going into a team significantly more beat up than any team in the league. The Los Angeles Rams, practically the entire roster is on IR at this point. 0-2. They need a win. They're at home. But San Francisco looking to bounce back, trying to right the ship. But no Debo, no Christian McCaffrey.
The injury bug is going around to both of these teams, so it all depends on who's hurt the most. The Rams are hurt the most, so I'm picking the 49ers.
Yeah, I think it's probably as simple as that. I wasn't smelling the Rams as this hot team that people were picking to do a lot. Not because they're not talented, not because they're not well coached, but I don't know. It just felt like the last year they weren't as good maybe as their record indicated. The year before, I think they were better than their record indicated. I felt like this year you're going to fall in the middle and they're going to win like 7 to 9 games. But now if Puka Nacua is out for an extended period of time, Cooper Kupp's out, Tutu Atwell was dropping balls all over the place. Kyron Williams hasn't been as dynamic as he was last year. And, McVay, I don't know that he's going to have the massive coaching advantage against Shanahan, even though there's some interesting history between the two of them squaring off. But I like the 49ers in this one.
It's hard to not pick the 49ers when you, like you said, almost the entire Rams team is on IR. Like it's an unfortunate thing for the team. So I mean, we also what happened in Minnesota. No Christian McCaffrey, you know. Now Debo's is injured. I think they're gonna struggle. I think the Rams are gonna struggle because they have the most amount of injuries in their team. And they are not coming off in the hot start either. Like you said, they're 0-2. So they are not having the best of luck right now. I still think they can turn around maybe week 4 if they get some of the guys back. But, against the 49ers, I don't think they're going to be able to bounce back against the 49ers, especially if they're just missing McCaffrey, Debo, and I don't know who else, maybe somebody else, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like the Niners are better equipped to handle the loss of some weapons. Like Jordan
Yeah.
Mason's been running. Like he had
Yeah.
good numbers last week against Minnesota. You still got Ayuk. They love Juwan Jennings there. You still got Kittle. You still got Juszczyk made some nice plays against Minnesota last week.
Plus their defense. Their defense is still,
Exactly. Listen, you could put Fred Warner on a football field by himself, and he's still going to somehow get you like 6 or 7 wins. That dude is unbelievable. But their defense more stacked. I think, who's going to step up for the Rams? I don't know. And you're dealing with a high-powered defense that is at full strength. I think it's going to be a tough game for the Rams. I think we're going to see as Adam would say, ass Stafford instead of Matt Stafford out there on Sunday. He's going to throw a couple picks. And I will say this, my betting nugget for this game, if you can get this prop, my boy Kobe Turner on the Rams defensive line, I think he's going to get a sack. I think he's going to be the next Aaron Donald light. He's not going to be Aaron Donald, but I think he gets a sack.
Oh, by the way, congratulations on the Vikings for finally getting a sack from Brock Purdy.
They got plenty. They got plenty. They were in his ass all day, all night. They're still in his ass right now. They might not make it to the game on Sunday.
Amazing.
All right, so now we got Sunday Night Football. Chris Collinsworth.
What a weird game. Chris Collinsworth.
Here's a guy.
Yeah.
Get ready. Chris Collinsworth, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Collinsworth going to be all night long as they go to Atlanta to take on the red-hot Atlanta Falcons. I don't think so.
No, they're
Kansas City, and they're not going to need the refs this time.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to root for the Kansas City Chiefs, but that's my pick as well. I think they're going to win it. Like you said, the Falcons are coming off a big win for them against the Eagles. But it was a close win. You know, it's a game that you can't say the Eagles lost because, you know, they took advantage of that opportunity to score, and they got that pick at the end. So that's good on the Falcons. But let's face it, Kirk Cousins is still hurt. He was still not moving in that pocket. He was still frozen like a statue. He's not moving at all. His offensive line did the work. His offensive line was able to protect him, but I don't think they're gonna be able to protect him from the Chiefs' defensive line. I think he's gonna get sacked a couple of times in this game, and I believe that the Falcons are gonna get sucker punched in this game. And I still believe Travis Kelce is not gonna do anything.
I'm very tempted, even though I led this off with I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm very tempted to take the Falcons here. And here's why. Primetime Kirk has been so overblown. We need to put it to bed. Kirk Cousins can win in primetime. Kirk Cousins can win on Monday night. Kirk Cousins can win on Monday night in Philly in week 2. He could do it all. The only questions left for Kirk exist in the playoffs. All the regular season monkeys are off of Kirk Cousins' back. And Patrick Mahomes in primetime games in his career throws an interception in 75% of primetime games. He threw 2 interceptions last week. He threw an interception against Baltimore. He's turning the ball over right now.
Football head?
The way the questionable when it comes to the refs. Hopefully we don't see that type of game here. Hopefully we just see them actually get one thumb in the wind to show, hey, you know, you don't always need the refs' help. You know, we don't always need a call by the refs to win games. I think this is it. I think it's good for them to do it not at home in Arrowhead and do it, you know, on the road in Atlanta. I still believe their defensive line is going to run over the offensive line of the Atlanta and make sure that they sack Kirk Cousins. And you can, you know, yeah, he won on Monday night. Yeah, he the primetime curse, whatever. It's, you know, it's not relevant anymore. But I don't think the Falcons have what it takes. Sorry, to beat the Chiefs at this point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs. I thought about it. It's a football karma, football god sort of thing. You know, you got all the weird shit, how they're pulling these last 2 games out. Are they due for a loss? Or, in my opinion, both of the ref calls from week 1 and week 2 for Kansas City, I think both calls were correct, and everyone's bitching about it, understandably so, because it happens seemingly every fucking week with the Chiefs. But I think from a football karma perspective, the right calls were made, and everyone's talking about it, and I think as a result of that, the Chiefs, they're just going to handle business.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
All right, now we got the rare, like once a season, randomly for reasons unknown, Monday night doubleheader. We got the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that I think has some weird bad luck surrounding them for reasons I don't fully understand, headed into Buffalo. Bills Mafia going to be fired up on a Monday night in Buffalo, 2-0. Their team coming off an absolute beatdown of their hated rival, Miami Dolphins. Who you like, Buffalo or Jacksonville?
Hey, hey, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo. They'll be 3-0. Yeah, I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. I don't think the Jaguars have anything to look forward to in this game. I don't think they have any chance in hell that they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills at home. I'm sorry. Not this Jaguars team. Not at this point. I'm sorry. The Jaguars, like you said, it's bad luck. I don't know what it is. They are not playing well. They're struggling offensively. They are struggling defensively. I'm sorry because it hurts me because I love Dougie P, but they are not winning this game. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. No question.
It's hard to imagine coming into the year the thought of, everyone was, I don't want to say down on the Bills, but there's they lose Diggs, they lose a bunch of pieces on the defense. It felt like we're making some changes. And, they'll probably still make the playoffs or at least compete for a playoff spot, but they'll take a step back. They'll regress this year. And Jacksonville, they'll bounce back until Trevor Lawrence got injured. When he got injured, they were the number one seed in the AFC. So it would be hard to imagine coming into the season, the Bills 3-0, the Jags 0-3. But I think the Bills are going to be 3-0, and I think the Jags are going to be 0-3. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
All right, so the last game on the slate. Why is this a Monday night game? Yeah, you're going to give me a doubleheader. This should be the first one where it's like, this is the amuse-bouche. This is the appetizer. You get to watch like 45 minutes of a whatever football game, and then you get to watch the real football game after that. But we got Washington, the Washington football team, to Cincinnati, taking on the 0-2 Bengals. Spoiler alert, the Bengals will win this game. I have no doubt.
I have no doubt whatsoever either. I'm picking the Bengals as well. I think this is the game that the Bengals needed. And, hopefully an easy win for them. I don't think the Commanders are going to win. I don't know how the Commanders have been able to win the past couple of weeks. I mean, last week they won without scoring a single touchdown. It makes no sense whatsoever, but they got it done. But
last week they won because they played the New Jersey Football Giants. That's why they won. That's it. That's the only reason. And Daniel Jones played well.
He scored a touchdown. But, I think Joe Burrow, to me, the Bengals are in the same spot as the Ravens. They have something to prove. They need to win this game, so they're going to get it done. That's it. No matter what. And it's no offense, but, NFC East rivalry. It's the Washington Commanders. They're not a strong team. They're okay. They always play well against the Eagles. I think they have a good defense in front. But, let's not take them seriously yet.
Yeah, it's kind of a dud to end the noob football picks of the week on, but it is what it is. So I'll pose this to you. Non-pick related predictions. Last week you said Travis Kelce, he's not going to do it again. He's going to have a rough game. He's not going to have a lot of stats. And you were right. Do you have any predictions for us this week that are not picks?
That's my take as well. I think Travis Kelce start to the season. He might pick it up later on. Have a rough night. As when it comes to any other predictions, I didn't think about that many, but my biggest prediction is that the Ravens sucker punch the Cowboys. I said it earlier. I think they're going to beat the Cowboys by double digits because I think the Cowboy spirit is still a little bit shaken off by that loss against the Saints. So I believe that the Ravens are going to beat the Cowboys by double digits. I don't have that many predictions this week, though.
All right, well, it was a rough week on the picks last week, 7-9, but you nailed the non-pick prediction. Maybe you'll do better this week, and you'll also nail the non-pick prediction.
I want to say one thing though. In my defense, it was 7-9, like you said, but with the exception of two games, most of the games I did not, pick the right team to win were very close games. For example, Raiders Ravens 26-23, Buccaneers Lions 2016, Colts Packers 10-16, Browns Jaguars 18-13, Niners Vikings 17-23, Seahawks Patriots 23-20, and Eagles Falcons 22-21. So
Not
I might be a noob, but they were close games.
I will say this: you did predict the Patriots to win by double digits, so.
Yeah, I know. Never mind.
Oh, they got the overtime though. But there were a lot of week 2 upsets. You Ravens Raiders upset, Niners Vikings upset, Bucks Detroit upset, Saints Cowboys upset, Falcons Eagles upset. So it was a weird week.
It was upset week. It was upset week in the NFL, and it was just some of these games were just wild to watch and experience. I had no idea. Like the Saints, like looking how they're looking at this point, it just makes no sense. But they're doing it, and they're looking great. And I don't know if it's because the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, but they are inspired and they are coming for the Eagles. But hey, guess what? I don't think they're gonna be able to get the Eagles. I'm sorry.
All right, well, that's all the picks. Week 3, the Noob football picks. Do you have any last thoughts for us?
Uh, yeah. I have one last thought. When it comes to football, I'm very, very concerned about the whole CTE aspect of the game. It's really scary when you have a player like Tua, you know, like, go through something like that, especially when he has gone through it before. Stop telling people what they should do with their careers and their lives. Only their families and close ones should do that. To all these analysts, all these media outlets, to all these online experts and pseudo analyst keyboard warriors, keep it down, keep it together. Let the kid get better. Let him make up his mind. And if you're a Miami Dolphins fans, I am so sorry, but you're screwed. That's it.
Listen, man, Tua, he's Polynesian. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna die on his shield, dude. And if not, if he retires, he's gonna join the bloodline. You heard it here first.
Knowledge.
All right, well, that does it. Week 3 predictions, the Noob football picks with the Puerto Rican prince of the pigskin himself, the football noob, Cesar Rodriguez. Cesar, always a pleasure to chop it up with you. Thanks for coming on again. We'll do this next week. And until next time, take it easy, football heads.
Thank you. See ya.